I do it because I think I look bad.
I want the vitamin D.
Well, I definitely want the.
Flying out of Sacramento, California.
Woo! What you gonna do?
Better. Stronger.
Son of a bitch.
Faster.
Oh yeah!
Do you think you need? Do you think once you hit send, you gotta
kind of leave it up there.
You got to leave it up there, and if nothing else, do a retraction after the fact, but to actually pull
if
it.
you felt bad or something.
Yeah, like, oh, maybe I went too far in that last piece. This is why, but to actually, because I'm telling you, it was shots fired on seed oil. It was on seed oil, and people zealots that vilified entire food groups and used that to build a fan base.
Are we recording?
We're always recording.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there's so much information and misinformation on seed oils nowadays that, like, I don't even know where I stand. I look at all these different people like Carnivore MD, and he's got all these studies that he's whipping out, and he's like, hey, check out what this did, what that did, and then you go to Lane Norton, he says there's absolutely no studies that show that vegetable oil is inflammatory. Now, Lane Norton, he might be inflammatory, but we love him. Yeah. But vegetable oil is not inherently inflammatory on its own. There's all these things online. Have you heard about the sunburn debate?
No.
Because this is what I wanted to tell you about. So I did a post yesterday. You can maybe pull up my Instagram.
Yeah.
It's probably just right on there. Yeah. I forget how many steps I walked. It was like over 20,000 steps yesterday. I've been putting in a lot of steps. I'm trying to drop some weight and get lean by the time I'm 50 years old on November 3rd. So, yeah, it was 105 degrees out. I was at 23,000 steps at that point. Still a little chubby. Gotta cut down, but that's what we're doing here. That's part of the plan. And the thing is, I walked the entire day, so 23,000 steps. That's probably about 4 or 5 hours out in the sun, to walk that much. I probably spent that much time in the sun. And I didn't have sunblock on the entire day. And I have, maybe slightly a little bit reddish in tint, but I don't have any sunburn. I don't have any of that feeling where, if I pull my shoulders back, I don't feel like, oh, my skin's burned or anything. It's amazing. And so there's this big argument online that if you don't eat seed oils, that you don't get sunburn.
Wow.
And I have a different opinion on it. I have a feeling like I'm a guy. Okay, for example, like you don't go outside with your shirt off much.
No.
When we walk the other day, you whipped your shirt off, right?
Twice now.
And I think it's great because I actually tell people I don't walk with my shirt off because I think I look good.
No.
I do it because I think I look bad.
I want the vitamin D.
Well, I definitely want the. I definitely want the vitamin D. No, but I really want to get over the stress of taking off my shirt. Up until I was about 40 years old, it had always been this sore spot of like I lifted every day, but I didn't want to take my shirt off.
I mean, I just recently put up a post of me getting in and out of a cold plunge, and I'm a big fatty, so it's humbling to say the least. But
it helps to get over it.
Yeah.
Like I used to see, I'd see go to the beach and see like a big guy, and he'd be out there with his shirt off and he'd be all hairy and shit, and he just didn't care. And I go, man, I wish I had that big fat Italian guy has. Like, he doesn't even care. He's covered in hair. Mm-hmm. He's got his shirt off. He's having a blast with his kids or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, that's a big fat guy, but he's so happy and I'm not. I'm here in prison with my shirt on, and that's what I would always think. So my theory is this. Could seed oils have something to do with it? Potentially, yes. I used to get sunburned so bad that I would blister and stuff, but I would never go out in the sun. And so, like, over the period of like the last year, I'd say, almost every day when the temperature's hot enough, I walk with my shirt off. Mm-hmm. And I do that almost every day. So I wonder if it would make more sense logically that the continued exposure to more sun because you're in better shape would be the reason that you're not burning a lot of these people that before they did a carnivore diet, somebody like Hottie, he was like 400 pounds. He's never going to take his shirt off. But now that he's 220, he might take his shirt off. And that, over time, he wouldn't sunburn anymore, right? Regardless of what he's eating, really. Like, I just think it's repeated exposure to the sun because you look better and feel better. And so then that placebo affects into, hey, it's because I don't eat seed oils.
Right. I mean, this is not, this is, what you're saying is so common sense. And this phrase has been around since we were kids. You built up a base tan.
Yeah.
Right. Once you build up a base tan, you don't burn like you used to. I mean, you might not realize it, but if you and I stood next to each other up against a white wall, you'd see I look like a marshmallow, and you're pretty tan right now. You've built up a tan, I think.
I think I'm jacked and tan.
Pretty jacked and tan, Chris.
Yeah, I think that's it. It might just be repeated exposure to the outside, but it also, I think it goes a long way with, like, when I started walking with my shirt off in the beginning, I would be embarrassed about it. But as I get in better shape, I feel better about it. And then the shirt comes off even more. The leaner I am, the less clothes I wear, basically. Like, that's how it goes. And one of the things that's been frustrating is, for whatever reason, man, I was down to about 190 about 2 years ago. I was super lean. I had abs. I felt great. And I don't know what happened, but like right around the time that the pandemic started, my shit just all unraveled. And I don't know if it was like, some of it's because of pain. Like my pain issues were getting really bad, and that had like affected how much I worked out. There was some eating issues, but basically I've been on like a carnivore diet forever. But sometimes in the winter, and especially during the pandemic, it would just be this creep, right? Like it's not necessarily carb creep, because it wasn't like I was eating carbs, but my calories would creep up and my activity would creep down because there was nothing to do during the pandemic. So, and you know what? Like in the beginning of the pandemic, I had a lot of pain issues, so I didn't go out and walk every day. And I wish I did. I wish I had done 20,000 steps a day back then. I think that would have kept some of the fat at bay. But I'm telling you, there are more millionaires in this country, in the world actually, than people with abs. So like having abs is a really difficult thing. And then there's the guys that are millionaires that have abs, and we hate those guys. We call them guys smelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, like there's more people that have $1 million in the bank than have a six-pack.
Wow.
And that's something I think that we all need to keep in mind also, as we tend to like beat ourselves up too much about getting in shape. But the one thing I want to like stress to everybody that's watching this and listening to this, because I know most people are working on it, it's really, really hard. And you need to give yourself a pat on the back every once in a while. Today, I'm so proud of you. Simply because, and I hope I don't embarrass you.
No, I mean, I like the embarrassment.
You got to fit in a machine that you couldn't fit in before.
Right.
And like you got in and you did the bench press, and then you wiggled your way out of it successfully.
I had to go through it like a fat guy goes through a skinny doorway.
Until I changed the seat, but and then you got stuck a little bit.
Yeah.
No, but to me, like those are victories.
Big victory.
And so if you went home and your son was like, "What'd you do today?" You're like, "I did something new." Like you'd have something to tell him about, like, "Hey, I made a new accomplishment." And maybe it's too crazy to explain to him, but like, it's just the idea that like making these little achievements each day is what we all need to focus on, and what we need to get our kids to focus on is like the little victories. I was talking to Jerome yesterday. I love Jerome. He's a guy that comes in here and lifts, and he's trying to lose weight, and he keeps kind of falling off the wagon on his diet. And I just gave him a hug, and I said, just keep getting back on. Like that's what this is about. Like just you don't have to come to me like some sort of like, I'm not here to be your father, and I'm not here to be your overlord and saying like you must eat this way. I want this to click with you, and I want one day for you to tell me, shut up, I got this. Because I keep giving people information until they tell me, shut up, I got this. You know, and that's just how I operate. But I think that that's cool. That's like, that's how we get people to do things, you know, to move forward. And with all these guys, I got all of them pretty much walking now more. And that's the thing I want to do with this group is actually get everybody a little bit more on the same page. You know, I think we've had some great successes. Like Brandon lost a lot of weight. Fernando just hit 1,000-pound club on his lifting. You know, so everybody's like moving forward. And I think now it's time to organize a little bit and be like, let's attack this a little bit better. You know. Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome, man.
And, you know, like I said, we get everybody out there walking, and I want those guys also to be able to get over I think it's a huge self-esteem issue to walk with your shirt off if you're heavy. I don't think it's like, wouldn't never try to embarrass anybody. I would never make fun of anybody that took off their shirt, you know? And so I think it's like, it's a sign of strength, you know, rather than a sign of weakness. Because I always looked at it as weakness. Somebody's going to see my flaws, but like, let your flaws stand out. Go outside, you know, take your shirt off, be like, this is me, you know, fuck it.
We still got a little summer left. Enjoy the sun while it's out, right? Rainy season's right around the corner.
Yeah, I just think it's cool. And it's like, if you're uncomfortable with it, don't do it. If you're uncomfortable doing it in your own neighborhood, go to a different neighborhood where nobody recognizes you or knows you, and go do it there. Go do it out in the middle of the woods where nobody sees you. It's just really nice to have that freedom. Like, I remember, like, I honestly feel like my T-shirt was always like a prison to me, you know, something I always had to keep on. And now that I don't have to keep it on, I walk around with a nice tan all the time, and it's cool. And everybody looks better with a tan, right?
Yeah. Go for a walk.
Let's go.
All right.
All right, we're out. See you guys.